You have just heard the actual heartbeat of USHER monitored buildings. Please welcome on stage Dr. Francis Aldrine A, the founder of USHER.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Francis Aldrine A and the founder of USHER Technologies. Currently, I also serve as the Dean of the School of Civil, Environmental, and Geological Engineering at the Mapua University. I also happen to be a proud product of Mapua. I am a proud Mapuan. Yes. Viva Mapua. My alma mater has ingrained in me the social value of utilizing technology to answer society's needs. Coupled with advocacy in civil systems, I wanted to develop a technology that responds to a pressing need facing our country today: earthquake resilience. I, together with my colleagues in engineering, we saw the devastating effect of earthquake in and out of the country. Most of the damages, injuries, unfortunately casualties, they came from the rubble of structures that collapsed or sustained damages. As an engineer, it pained me to see such effects, which I know can be preventable. We saw the need of earthquake and structural health monitoring to intensify in our country. Since then, my passion for structural health and disaster resilience has awakened, and it became the advocacy of my life to strengthen the resiliency of our structures. I am very glad to be part of Mapua University, as they have supported our journey in research and development in innovating a product that would aid my personal advocacy in disaster resilience. Mapua University, formerly known Mapua Institute of Technology, has always been a proud center of education, producing competent professionals in their chosen fields. Since 1925, Mapua has seen the likes of skilled, great innovators such as Dadu Panataw and other excellent professionals. The excellent academe hasn't stopped Mapua in striving for more. In 2014, the university has slowly incorporated the pursuit of excellent research and development. Several projects, researches that aims to respond to the country's problem were pursued. A number of scientific papers were showcased in international conferences. A proud product of Mapua R&D is the reason why we are all here today. USHER, the Universal Structural Health Evaluation and Recording System. That is why we have invited you all here today. USHER, we hope, will become a symbol, a gift of hope, to battle our fears in the event of strong earthquake. More than enabling economical and hassle-free compliance, USHER strongly aims for a more resilient Philippines by actively monitoring the strength of structures that we walk, work, and live in. The buildings we go to work every day, the bridges we cross, and the homes we stay in. All this is now being threatened by the possibility of the big one. Who heard of the big one? Or maybe the more appropriate question is, who hasn't heard of the big one? We see this loud social media buzz in the news from government officials, concerned organizations, scientists, experts, and even private citizens constantly warning us of the possibility of the big one. And it could happen within our lifetime. But what really is the big one? Experts, by studying the history of earthquakes in the country, they were able to form a pattern, thereby somehow predicting when the next big quake will happen in the Philippines. This is the recurrence interval, or the average time span between earthquake occurrence. And it is now estimated to be 400 to 500 years. The last major quake from the movement of the West Valley Fault, which traversed various parts of Metro Manila and nearby provinces. This was recorded in 1658. That was 361 years ago. This means, perhaps, that the dreaded 7.2 magnitude scenario is due anytime between our lifetime or our children's lifetime. It's not an occurrence we would want for ourselves, nor for our children. Now, in preparation for the big one, Myers began in 2004 the Metro Manila Earthquake Impact Reduction Study done with JICA. Myers was able to provide necessary information on various earthquake damage scenarios. Myers was able to project these terrifying results. 40% of the total number of residential buildings will collapse or affected. 34,000 people may perish. 140,000 people may seriously be injured. An additional 18,000 lives may be snatched from us because of the fire that will be caused by the earthquake. These horrifying study results have led our government to take action in strengthening earthquake resilience. Several significant moves were put into motion, starting with the revision of the National Structural Code of the Philippines. The Executive Order Number 52, mandating the creation of Program Management Office for Earthquake Resiliency for the Greater Metro Manila area. Government programs such as the MMDA's Oplan Metro Yacal Plus, and I would like to thank again our chairman, Daniel Lim, who is with us today. Thank you very much, sir, for being here. DSWD's Oplan Pagyanig, DOST-STII's Project Boom, preparing for earthquakes. Government, private organizations taking effort in organizing seminars, training, annual or quarterly shape drills. These are just some of the actions done to help us Filipinos prepare for the big one. We in USHER, and I, personally as a Filipino citizen, I'm truly grateful for all these efforts to ensure safety and resilience. This government advocacy perfectly coincides with our goal. To match government's efforts, we formed this team of brilliant minds, a team of doers, people who can deliver. USHER is a team of people who brought in their expertise, their skills, their commitment to making USHER an excellent system without sacrificing sustainability. Committed to strengthening disaster resilience and saving lives of Filipinos and other nations, I am proud to present to you the USHER team. As an excellent result of collaboration of minds, is the USHER device, the USHER ERI. This device, with the purpose of saving lives through structural health monitoring, has gone through an evolution, with each phase getting better and better with more added features. This evolution equates to our commitment for the development, for the continuous improvement of the USHER system, because USHER is more than an ERI. USHER is an advanced system with its two main components: the USHER ERI Max, the device, and the 24/7 web portal system. USHER is the future now in structural health monitoring. Its 24/7 web portal system is a data analytics platform with decision support tools that helps structural engineers, property managers, building officials, and other stakeholders in diagnosing the structural integrity of buildings before, during, and after an earthquake. USHER provides insights in the actual condition of structures. And as mentioned, the 24/7 web portal is an absolute necessity for data retrieval, processing, analytics, storage, and archiving. These features and more allow USHER to maximize its primary purpose: to save lives. USHER hopes to be a great aid and a symbol of hope to Filipinos. Adding to hope, USHER is now a representative of Filipino ingenuity. We are here today because of this locally made product, representing our innovative culture with world-class quality. The device that can save Filipino lives was made with Filipino hands. This is at par, or even better, than the global standard. USHER is also recognized as a genuine product here and abroad. We have it tested and certified in the best internationally recognized labs in the UK, in the US, Singapore, and Taiwan. In 2018, we received the DOST-STII Outstanding R&D Award on Special Concerns. Thank you. Early this year, in Lisbon, Portugal, we received the 2018 World Summit Awards. USHER was chosen as one of the top 40 solutions in the world under the category Smart Settlements and Urbanization. And I'm happy to inform you, and would like again to recognize the President of the Philippine Technological Council, Engineer Fred Monsada, who is here with us today. A week from now, we will be receiving the 2019 ASEAN Outstanding Engineering Project Award from the ASEAN Federation of Engineering Organizations, or AFEO, in Jakarta, Indonesia. These awards are further proof of USHER's value and inspires us to work harder for its improvement. All these are made possible with the aid of our collaborators. USHER has a very collaborative nature. We have structural engineering partners, finance, insurance partners, and of course, this morning you have heard from our government partners. Because of our partners, our future goals are now achievable. 250. This is the number of allocated USHER ERI units that are currently being installed and will surely be operational this year. In the future, we hope to make it global. We will import our product and the structural engineering expertise in many other countries. It is our aim to install as many USHER devices as we can, because we never know when the big quake may happen. This is an urgent, critical technology because of the impending big one. Please turn your sights to the screen. The effect, to say the least, is devastating. The past has taught us the hard lessons of these disasters, the tremendous loss of lives, the loss of income, the loss of opportunities. It's a catastrophe of epic proportion. Past earthquakes from here and abroad has taught us that this is a terrifying force of nature. And all this might happen to us, especially here in Metro Manila. As precautionary corrective measure, the Department of Public Works and Highways crafted the guidelines and implementing rules on earthquake recording instrumentation for buildings. And there are three important things to note. The first one is the instrumentation of the building. All owners of existing buildings shall provide accessible seismic instrumentation room for the installation of appropriate earthquake recording instruments, or ERI. The location of the said instrument shall be determined by the certified structural engineer. Number two is data retrieval and interpretation. Immediately after the occurrence of a magnitude 6 earthquake, the building officials shall require the owner of the building to retrieve the data and to have it interpreted by its certified structural engineer. The data interpretation shall be submitted by the owner, DPWH, for storage through the building official. And this can be used for post-earthquake evaluation of buildings and emergency response. Third is data storage and archiving. Data storage and archiving shall be at the DPWH central office or a data center designated. And ASEP, the Association of Structural Engineers of the Philippines, upon written request to DPWH, shall be provided with the data. This has something to do with our hope to move from the code-based design to the performance-based design. However, despite of the guidelines, the presence of foreign-made ERIs in the market, and the possibility of the big one, there is still low compliance. Why aren't these guidelines met? First, because it's expensive. ERIs currently in the market are still bought from outside of the country, which incurs, of course, additional expenses. And to add, the challenges in providing the related services. Second, this is a highly technical matter, and it requires advanced trainings for structural engineers. This to provide the related services. Much more is the education for building owners, for developers, for them to understand the real purpose, use, and benefit of this technology. And third, foreign products will be considered incomplete in relation to the DPWH full guidelines. Because of these reasons, USHER has chosen to be the product to respond to these concerns. And why should you choose USHER? First, because it's economical. Being locally made with world-class quality, USHER offers the best value. Second, hassle-free. We will be there with you from start, from installation, processing of your compliance certificate, maintenance, and continuous monitoring. Third, USHER is more than a compliance solution. It can do a lot of things that other ERIs in the market cannot do. To better understand the benefits of USHER, please turn to the screen behind me.
Paano na to?
Paano na to?
Ang alin? Ito.
Ito!
Paano na nga ba ito? Tapos na ang lindol, pero ang dami pa rin nangyayari. Paano na nga ba to? Pagkatapos ng lindol, kadalasan walang pasok, walang opisina. Kahit ang ospital, closed for business. Bakit? Dahil kailangan siguraduhin ang tibay ng bawat gusali pagkatapos ng lindol. Ligtas pa rin bang pumasok dito? Kadalasan, ang building inspection ay inaabot ng ilang oras. Minsan, araw. Ang bawat oras at araw na nawawala sa atin ay buhay na nasasayang. May mabilis at mabisang paraan upang alamin ang tibay ng anumang gusali na walang nasasayang na pera, oras at pagkakataon. Ang tawag namin dyan, USHER. Ito ang USHER o Universal Structural Health Evaluation and Recording System. USHER ang magmumonitor at pagsasabi kung ang inyong gusali ay matatag at matibay. Sa regular na pagmumonitor 24/7, makapaghahanda ka sa anumang sakuna. Mapapagtibay mo pa ang anumang gusali. Magbantay at maganda ng maaga dahil ang bawat oras, pera at pagkakataon ay mahalaga.
Resilience is our ability to recover after a strong earthquake. Bounce back faster with USHER. USHER is an end-to-end more than compliance solution. And this is made even more possible because of our recognized partners who are here right now with us. People who are helping USHER's cause in strengthening structural resilience in the event of a strong earthquake. To help you imagine the scenario and what USHER can do, I would like now to call our our Senior Structural Health Engineer, Engineer Michael Bailon, to show us the possibilities.
Thank you, Dr. Uy. A pleasant morning to all of you. I am Engineer Michael Bailon, the Senior Structural Health Engineer of USHER. USHER ERI Max is more than an earthquake recording instrument. It can do more. First, it monitors the structural threshold based on computer models set by structural engineers. Second, it calculates the frequencies of the building before and after an earthquake event. Third, it gives the intensity scale based on the PBOX Earthquake Intensity Scale, or the PEIS. Fourth, it monitors the phenomenon known as resonance between the ground motion frequency and that of the building. An experiment or simulation was done in the Mapua University Yuchenko Innovation Center. To demonstrate to you how USHER ERI Max works, Mr. Manuel Balanon, Engineer Don Santiago, and Engineer Aaron Paul Gregorio fabricated a miniature steel tower made of rounded bars welded together to form a 12-story rigid frame, as you can see on your left side. Two piece with two different configurations. The first model represents the tower before the earthquake event occurs. Notice that there are diagonal bracings that prevents too much swaying. In structural engineering aspect, we call this drifts. The second model represents the moderate damage form of the first one. It can be observed that there are no more diagonal bracings, thus a minimal prevention of drifts. To simulate the ground shaking, Mr. Emmanuel Balanon and his college classmates fabricated machine named Ultra Titan Mark II of their undergraduate thesis. It is an earthquake simulator that makes an object shake at a preferred magnitude number. It only means that USHER saw the big potential of not only the student project, but also our future builders of the nation. In order to measure out the real-time monitoring of the two towers, we have to know the boundaries for us to define if a structure is in danger when they exceed the limitation. Since in a real structure, one cannot just test the whole building in a universal testing machine or UTM, there must be a way that these towers will be tested by shaking of varied intensities that mimic the ground motion. By using sophisticated computer model made from a software application that we use in structural engineering, threshold values can now be derived. First of which is what we call the structural threshold. The greater energy absorbed by the structure, the greater the resistance it could maintain over the external energy coming from ground shaking. That is, the greater area in this graph, the greater the resistance a tower can maintain. When the two towers were subjected to a specific intensity of ground shaking, the upper floor, the 12th floor, registered relative movements or displacements over a period of time. The blue wave is the motion before model as compared to the orange scatter points, which is the after model. This means that the after model has resisted less compared to the before model. The effectiveness of the diagonal bracing can be proven, and when the tower was damaged, wherein all the bracings were inefficient, there could be less resistance to side-by-side movement of the tower. For the structural threshold to be derived, a graphical representation of the method can be summarized known as fragility curves, the one that we had in our research. Thus, the structural threshold can be obtained by subjecting the tower with a ground shaking of 0.6 G or 600 centimeter per second squared, obtaining the highest structural response. When that 0.6 G ground shaking is subject to two towers, they will perform maximum of 1 G, which is multiplied by the gravitational acceleration, for the before model and 0.8 G for the after model. Thus, the structural thresholds for the before model is 1.5 G, and that of the after model is 0.8 G. The base shear force is the force equivalent to the ground shaking resistance of the tower. The higher the base shear, the greater the resistance of the tower's base. In the chart, the before model has greater resistance as compared to that of the after model the first 20 seconds. But as time progresses, both of them has almost the same performance. USHER ERI maps were installed at the 12th floor, 6th floor, and ground floor for each tower. Since the two towers are resting on the same base, only one USHER ERI maps was allotted. So a total of 5 USHER ERI maps are used for each said location. Slide. In this demonstration, the two towers are tested. Play. Should be playing. With the 10-second, the structural threshold is 1.5 G, while in the USHER ERI maps, this should be. Anyway, it recorded 1.25 G, thus it surpassed the threshold. The structural threshold is 0.8 G, while the USHER ERI maps recorded with a 1.0 G. Thus, the after model did not surpass the structural threshold. With this ERI, structural health monitoring is real and possible. Superimposing the two charts, the higher acceleration data were recorded in the after model, which means that the effectiveness of diagonal bracing is proven to be significant. But reversely, when these diagonal bracings were totally damaged and came to be inefficient, the effect of the after model is significantly dangerous. Based on the formula from the FIVOX that our research project DAMES, development of earthquake intensity monitoring system, also used, the USHER ERI maps has a built-in algorithm that automatically calculates the PAIS or the FIVOX earthquake intensity scale. Currently, other ERIs used in the country utilizes other intensity scale, such as the Mercalli intensity scale. Therefore, USHER ERI Max is not only an accelerometer, but also an intensity meter. In the Department of Public Works and Highways guidelines and implementing rules on earthquake recording instrumentation for buildings, ERIs must have a record of 20 seconds before and 30 seconds after an earthquake event, whose magnitude is at least 6.0. This in turn will be studied if there's a significant difference on its calculated frequency. Thus, the building performance can be observed, and the USHER will print a report to the USEP's perusal. USEPs means USHER Structural Engineering Partners, for their structural analysis, evaluation, and recommendation for possible retrofitting scheme. In the September 1985 Mexico earthquake, a magnitude of 8.1 was recorded. Damage is often concentrated in the upper stories of taller buildings because the motion is greater there. The upper floors of several tall buildings collapsed. The resonant frequency depends on the height of the building. Low frequency shaking might cause tall buildings to shake violently while having little effect in low-rise buildings nearby. Although higher frequencies of vibration might have the opposite effect. Based on the PHIVOL's Atlas of West Valley Fault System, if the ground motion frequency approaching the structural frequency during the ground shaking or earthquake event, the phenomenon of resonance is expected to occur, and that is, an expected very large damage will happen to the structure. In a nutshell, USHER is more than an ERI because it can do more. First, it monitors the structural threshold set by the structural engineers because it is our safeguard in maintaining the integrity of the structures. Second, it calculates the frequencies of the building before and after an earthquake event because it is safe to know to go back to your respective buildings. Third, it gives the intensity scale based on the PHIVOL's Earthquake Intensity Scale, or EIS, because in the event of evacuation, this can prevent loss and opportunities and assure business continuity. And last but not the least, monitors the phenomenon known as resonance between the ground motion frequency and that of the building. So structural engineers can provide measures to keep the building safe for the next earthquake to occur. I am Engineer Michael Pailon, USHER's Senior Structural Health Engineer. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Henry.
Thanks, sir.
USHER is a product of research and development at the Mapua University. And we are proud to inform you that we have filed the patent way back in 2017. As a product and USHER system develops, our network expands. And I would like to invite investors, distributors, to help us spread our costs. Let us contribute into saving lives by building better and actively monitoring the structural health of our structures. Just imagine the possibilities. 15 countries along the Pacific Ring of Fire. You have the ASEAN Open Market, wherein 50% of the member states belong or located in the Pacific Ring of Fire. In the Philippines alone, there are more than 85,000 buildings that are awaiting USHER installation. And this number will continue to grow because of continuous development. This requires a strong commitment and long-term engagement for each USHER device installed. Remember, the economic lifespan of your building is at least 50 years. As a sign of commitment to safety and resilience, we have partnered with 2 critical government organizations in 2 DOST programs, aiming to strengthen our preparatory measures. These are the PhilSIMS and the Danish project. PhilSIMS stands for the Philippine Structural Integrity Monitoring System, a project we're conducting with the Department of Public Works and Highways. And this year, we will be able to install USHER in 12 government buildings and 10 bridges in Metro Manila. DOST stands for the Development of Earthquake Intensity Monitoring System, a project that we are working on with PBOX. If you have any concerns and are interested in USHER advocacy, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our advocacy will always revolve around saving lives and the reduction of the impact of the big one and other equally devastating earthquakes and disasters. Millions of damaged structures, billions to trillions of peso and economic loss. What if we can reduce the impact? 34,000 deaths. What if we can save 1, 2, or more lives? 1 or 2 might sound insignificant to some. But imagine if this 1 or 2, as your mother, your son, a friend, someone you love, or someone you know. Suddenly, it changes. 1 or 2 now becomes extremely significant. What if you can save your daughter, your mother, your brother through USHER? This is what USHER hopes to see: a stronger, safer, and more resilient world. This is USHER. I'm Dr. Francis Aldrine A. Today, together, let's start our journey for a safer and more resilient world. Thank you, good afternoon, Godspeed our journey, and all glory to God. Thank you.